Jazz clubs around the world are sitting empty, but jazz musicians will always have great music and stories to share. And since jazz fans aren't able to get out to hear great music, we will deliver jazz to you at home. Welcome to Jazz Home Delivery with Tim Tamashiro. Well, hello everybody. How are you doing? It's Tim Tamashiro here with Jazz Home Delivery. This basically what this show is a way to be able to take the music and stories from jazz musicians stuck at home during this COVID time, and we're bringing it to you at home. And hopefully you get your little jazz fix. My name is Tim Tamashiro, and I'm very, very happy to let you know that we are part of the TD International Jazz Days. This TD JazzYYC International Jazz Days. I have such a hard time with that title. It's whatever. I'm just happy that I'm part of it, and goodness knows I'm happy that you're here and being a part of it as well. Have a really interesting night planned for you because we have a couple of wonderful guests. The guests are Esteban Herrera and Oliver Miguel, and they are joining me from various places throughout Calgary here. We got 1, 2, 3. There's all three of us. Welcome, welcome. We've got a little bit of applause for you.
Hello, how are you?
Very nice to see you both. Oliver's in his studio. Is this your studio, Oliver?
Yeah, this is my humble little home studio.
Humble little home studio with a green screen. So you could be in space, or you could be in Cape Canaveral, or back home in Chile.
Or right here in Calgary.
Or right here in Calgary. That's exactly it. Esteban is in his music room. Is this a dedicated piano room for you, Esteban?
Well, yes, you could say that. In fact, it's my living room in my apartment.
Oh.
Everything is about music here. My wife is a singer, I'm a piano player, so yeah, it's like a music room, the whole apartment.
It's all music all the time, 24 hours a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were mentioning, we were talking just before we went on air here that we're all dog lovers. I have 2 dogs. Oliver has 2 dogs, right?
1 dog.
1 dog.
Boxer.
A boxer. And Esteban has 2 dogs.
Yes.
Okay, you have to tell us the breed because it's amazing.
Chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas. So just so you know, describe what a Chihuahua is.
Well, yes, it's a Chihuahua with a wiener.
A wiener dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. I love it. It's just so much fun to have dogs. Dogs are good people, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I love them.
Tonight, we're going to be experiencing and enjoying your own tastes in Latin jazz. Now, in having conversations with you earlier, just setting up the show, I noticed something that Latin jazz is a very, very big concept, and no matter where Latin jazz happens, it tends to have its own distinct flavor or accent, so to speak. Oliver, in your case, you were born in Chile, and so that means that you have your own understanding of what Latin jazz is. How does it? What's the flavor taste like to you?
Well, I think it comes from also my upbringing. Yeah, so having been born there, I experienced a lot of music from my area, which is a lot of music from the Andes, which is the panpipes. I have one here.
Oh.
So like,
of course.
So this is a traditional instrument from the Andes,
yeah.
And there's a lot of other instruments, which is like the little guitar that's in the back, wrapped in a towel. It's a charango, and it has a 10-string little guitar. I'll come bring it. 1 second.
Oh, he's bringing it.
It sounds a little bit like this.
Oh, that's amazing. Oliver has so many instruments around there. He's putting on his headphones so he can hear me again. You have so many instruments around there, and that's why I've described you as a multi-instrumentalist on the show this evening. And we're very thrilled to have you. That's a part of the flavor that we're going to be hearing from you on the show. Esteban, how do you describe your flavor of Latin jazz?
Well, for sure, it's a fusion. It's a mixture. I think that we have an accent, like everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, if we are musicians, we play, we understand at least like our first option, the music that we heard when we were younger, when we were like kids, you know.
Yeah.
So if we want to understand or to be able to speak in another language, musically speaking,
Yeah.
we need to live it like if we want to learn another language. You know, I tried to learn English in Mexico for all my life, but well, I know it's not that beautiful my English, but now I can speak it.
It's very
because I've
good.
been here for 3 years.
It's very good because you've been here. And,
Oh, thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, exactly. That's why. So with the music is kind of the thing, of the same, I think, right?
Yeah.
And for me, as Mexican, well, I've been like influenced by all the tradition in Mexico, the ethnic music.
Yeah.
Like mariachi is pretty like heard in Mexico. The mariachi music, you hear it everywhere in every party. You know, every Mexican guy knows a lot of songs. So, well, it's part of our language in Mexico. But what happened there is that we have also our style of pop music, our style of rock, our style of even symphonic music, you know.
Sure.
And in every part of Mexico, we have different expression of ethnic music as well. And Mexico is so diverse in this thing. It's like food. We have a lot of different foods, like gastronomy in Mexico is like music.
Sure.
So we have in Veracruz, we have son veracruzano. In Chiapas, we have huapango. We have all the mariachi in Jalisco, banda in the north of Mexico,
Sure.
and in the center, the fusion of everything. So for me, is to accept that as my heritage,
Sure.
and then try whatever I choose, which is the second step, I would say.
That's the second step. That's great. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to talk to you a little bit more about this. Oliver has probably 1,000 instruments there that he's going to be playing for us a little bit later on. But right now, Oliver, if it's okay with you, I'm going to go and talk to Esteban for a few minutes and hear his music, and then we'll come back and talk to you and hear your music. Thank you so much, Esteban. I'm gonna just go boom and boom and boom, and that's just the two of us now. There we go.
Okay.
Esteban,
Okay.
it's I know that you have a song that you can play for us even right now, if that's okay. I would be very interested to hear this song, La Bikina. What's the story behind this song?
Well, La Bikina is a song composed by Rubén Fuentes, which is a pretty, great composer, Mexican composer.
Mhm.
Still alive. He is 94 years old now,
I
and
love it.
he composed this song in 1964. And, he has at least 10 of the most famous mariachi songs in Mexico. This is a really one of my favorite songs of all my life. Before I was even a musician, I used to hear it. I have a couple of uncles over there that they play guitar and sing. So they used to sing this song to me, and I was like, "Oh, that song is beautiful." So it's La Bikina.
La Bikina. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a little bit of applause for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Esteban Herrera, and with his version of La Bikina for you here on Jazz Home Delivery. Yay! Esteban Herrera, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
with La Bikina.
Yes.
It's a beautiful song.
Thank you very much.
It's a lovely song. Now, you've been finding your time at home during this COVID time
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And did you say it was a little joyful for you?
Well, yeah, I am loving it because, sometimes for the musicians, for us, it's hard to find time because we need to do so many things, well, in order to survive.
Yeah.
I know it's sad to say it and to accept it, but, well, everybody, we need to be busy, we need to be like making money. And
Sure.
well, now we need to stay home. So
Yeah.
I love it
Yeah.
because I have
It's
too much to do. I am working on my next two albums,
okay.
which is one. Yeah, one is pure new compositions of mine, and the other is a compilation of Mexican music.
That has a
with,
hint of mariachi music in it. Is that correct?
Totally. In
Yeah.
fact, La Bikina is one of those songs, and these two new albums are gonna be played, recorded by my quartet, which I recorded my last album with, and is Gisela Romero, Luis Tobar, and Daniel Nava, and myself.
Very
So,
nice.
yes, I know we are Latinos, we are Mexican and Venezuelans, and it's just because I don't know why.
Because
But
it's joyful.
yeah, it's beautiful. They are good friends, and she's my wife. So
Well, that
really
helps
good friend.
definitely. That helps
Yeah.
out beautifully.
Yeah, that's awesome. Other than that, well,
Well, you're
you know,
teaching music. Other than that, you teach music to students, and
Yes.
tell us about how that's been going. how you're teaching
Well,
your students.
it's a new experience for me
Mhm.
because, in fact, it's the first time that I teach through like video chats, and
Oh.
it's really nice because, in fact, the little kids I am teaching little guys of around 6 years old,
Oh.
and they can, it's difficult for them to concentrate, to focus in this stuff, which is, of course, a game, and it's beautiful and it's joyful, even though you need to learn somehow.
Sure.
So, well, in this case, they are at their houses and with their parents, and sometimes that's better because they are
In what
a
way?
different, yeah, they are in some context that they are like really comfortable with, and well, it's nice. I am here. I interrupt my studying to give a lesson, and I come back and I start composing, and so the day, every day is music adventure. I love it.
Music adventures. And the little kids, do you think that the little kids, teaching a piano to a 6-year-old would be a totally different experience than on a screen than if you were to be sitting beside them at a piano?
Yeah. In fact, I was telling you that by phone the other day. I think that they are used to have a screen in front because it's their generation, right?
Sure.
So I think, well, we can accept it and use it and make the best of it because that's a reality. And I know I can sound like a grandpa if I say, "Oh, when I was young, it was not like that." Even though, well, now it's like that, and we need to use it, right? Because now these kids of 6-year-old kids can teach me how to use a computer.
Sure, that's great. And you've turned yourself into kind of a video game, I guess.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
That teaches piano. I love that.
Yeah.
You do videos on Facebook on a fairly regular basis now, especially ever since the whole COVID lockdown. And improv is a thing for you. What is it about improv that is so joyful for you?
Well, is why I became kind of a professional musician. I would say that jazz made me fall in love with it a little bit because of the improvisation. So I experienced my first kind of improvisation when I was 16 years old, and I started my studies in Mexico in a conservatory in a jazz kind of workshop, and it was magic for me. It was like this is what I want to do, like tell people what I feel through music every time, and every time is different, and you cannot catch it, and you cannot reproduce it exactly the same, of course, because it doesn't matter. It's what you feel in that moment.
It's art for the moment, and then once that moment is done, it disappears forever.
Yeah. Of course, that doesn't happen in the albums, which is a different experience.
Sure.
What I love.
Sure.
Yes. But, I mean, it's not exclusively. And talking about this COVID thing, yes, I started to notice that a lot of great musicians were doing that, right? Like famous and not famous. So I was like, okay, let's try it. I was kind of scared at the beginning.
I love it.
Because yeah, I love it now. But, it's a different experience because I'm used to have an audience in front of me. And the interaction is there. But like this, in a live streaming, there's no interaction. You need to imagine all of it. And because I use my phone in the side that I cannot see anything because it's better with the television. So I have no idea who is listening, what's happening. And the other thing, sometimes I feel insecure. I feel that I am doing it wrong, that I make a lot of mistakes, and you need to play with that mind, with that state of mind. So it's beautiful. It's challenging every time.
And you just and you jump on, and by doing it, it allows you to maybe shed away some of those fears or insecurities, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm loving it, and I do it almost every day. When I feel like it.
Well, you're going to do it right now. How does that sound?
I feel like it.
I
Yeah,
feel like you're going to do it right now.
totally.
Well, I'd like to set this up and bring to everybody's attention right now, first, though, that we are celebrating the TD JazzYYC International Jazz Days with a 28-day online virtual festival from Calgary here. And today we are joined by Esteban Herrera and Oliver Miguel. Esteban, I'm going to get you to get ready for the piano right now, and we're going to get you to solo here right away. This is always just so much fun to see what the artists are going to pull together as far as a live performance. And again, keep in mind, this is all brand spanking new experience for them to be doing for a virtual audience, and that is you. So please give them your applause and give them your comments on whatever platform you're watching, on YouTube or Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce to you Esteban Herrera with his improvisation of the night. Here we go. Esteban, it's all to you. There we have him, ladies and gentlemen. Esteban Herrera with his improvisation of the evening. Thank you for that. If you had to give it a name, what do you have a name that would come off the top of your head for your improv tonight?
Yeah, now.
That's wonderful. Yeah. It's been a real treat to hear your music and to hear your stories and your interpretations about Latin jazz in the world today. Esteban, it's been a real treat, and thank you for being on the show. If it's all right with you, I'm going to go over and talk to Oliver, but you stay right there and sure. Enjoy the music, okay?
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Totally.
We have our friend Oliver Miguel now. There's Oliver. He's standing there in his studio. He's got the green screen up. He's surrounded by so many instruments. How are you, Oliver?
I'm peachy.
You're peachy.
That's
good
Tim?
To hear. You're a busy guy, that's for sure. Well, you were telling me earlier that you've learned how many instruments now?
I'm not sure, but I'm always learning, so it's not I haven't stopped. I'm still learning and practicing. So I guess I started with the saxophone, which is my first love.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with music, and then therefore I just started experimenting and exploring other instruments, and here I am.
There you go. So you started with saxophone, then you went to piano. Is that correct?
Yep. Except that in between I did guitar as well.
You did guitar as well, of course.
Yeah, it was a personal thing. I love guitar so much.
Using all the parts of your brain. You say you've got piano, guitar, saxophone. Then you studied cajon when you were in Spain. You have a bunch of rhythm instruments, and then you started singing. You kept singing to the end.
Yeah, I think singing is my newest thing, and it's very challenging, and I really, really like the challenge, and I love the expression of the instrument.
Yeah, wow. Now, you studied jazz, or you studied music. Was it jazz specifically in Toronto?
It was. I got a jazz degree at Humber College, and it's great school, and I love the genre. I've always loved, much like Esteban, I fell in love with improvising, and that element to me is a necessity. It's something that no other genre has, and I love it so much because like you have to live in the moment and listen to what the other instruments are doing and what you feel in that moment, and it's just so special, and that element is dear in my heart.
Don Thompson was your teacher in Toronto, and he's a multi-instrumentalist as well. What was his influence on you deciding to branch out?
Well, it was interesting because he was a huge inspiration. I went to his composition class, and every class he was playing a different instrument, and I couldn't figure out what his actual instrument was, and that was the most amazing thing ever. And I would go see him in concerts, at the Montreal Bistro or at the Rex or wherever he was playing, and he would do that. He would just play so many instruments, and I remember him playing with Bill Dwyer, and they would just trade instruments, and I was just like blown away, and that was a
magic.
Huge inspiration for me, and to have, what a gift to be able to sit in his class for that time at Humber, and be inspired by him still till today.
Yeah, he inspires a lot of people, myself included, and I know from my own personal experience. The guy plays piano and vibes and drums and bass, and oh my goodness, he's really a treat to be around as well. He's a very, very sweet man. Now, you have a song that I want to hear a song right away because you're surrounded by instruments. So you're going to do a song, and this is tell us about it.
It's a pop song that I heard on the radio last year, and then I approached it a little more of a cha-cha style as opposed to the pop style that is out. You may recognize it. It's called Havana, and it's a fun song. And basically, I loop right over here. There's a fancy looper, and I have all the instruments plugged in. It's a bit of a spaceship, so I have to go over there and start the engines. Okay,
you go start the engines, and I'm going to set it all up. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Oliver's going over to get his spaceship started up right now. And I just wanted to remind you that you're watching the TD JazzYYC International Jazz Days Virtual Festival, a 28-day-long festival that the good people at JazzYYC put together in a hurry, I might add, because good knows. Here we go. Oliver Miguel, he's firing up.
Havana, took me back to East Atlanta. Na-na. Half of my heart is in Havana. There's something about his madness. Havana. Na-na.
You can dance along if you want.
You didn't woke up with that. How you doing? How you doing, Tim? He said there's a lot of girls I can do it. And I knew him forever in a minute. Un minuto. And Papa said he's got Milo in him. He's got me feeling like Havana, ooh na na. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh na na. He took me back to East Atlanta, ooh na na. Half of my heart is in Havana. There's something about my manners. This song needs more cowbell.
It's for you, Tim. I should go back to the saxophone, right?
Havana, ooh na na. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh na na. He took me back to East Atlanta, ooh na na. Half of my heart is in Havana. There's something about my madness. Havana, ooh na na.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Oliver Miguel doing multi-instrumentalist work. Oh my goodness. You are a busy cat. You are a busy cat. Oliver,
Hey,
you've been a busy guy.
I guess so.
You are a busy guy. Is it, have you always been a busy guy? Like, do you always think in multiple dimensions like that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I guess when I listen to music, I try to enjoy every aspect of or every element, all the elements of music.
Yeah.
I like to think of music as a language, similar to most people, but I like to also divide that language into elements, which is something really interesting to me because there's a lot of music is so complex and there's so much nuances in it. So it's nice to kind of like think of it as different things that create things that I like.
So when you listen to a song, I'm curious about this. When you listen to a song as a multi-instrumentalist, what do you hear? Do you hear it as a whole, or do you hear certain things specifically?
Well, I guess anyone could hear something specifically if you're like listening for the bass line. You could, tune your ear to that, or to the drums, or to the lyrics, or to the melody, or to the counter melody, or to the harmony, or to the feel, or to the emotion, or to the dynamics. There's so many elements, but I typically put on a song and listen to it all, including production, arranging, what kind of recording equipment they may have used, what kind of room, what kind of reverb they're using. I like to try and absorb as much as possible, which can make me pretty useless when I'm listening to music because I can't do anything else.
Oh,
Don't talk to me, I'm listening.
Don't talk to me. I'm listening. I'm concentrating here, for crying out loud. Now, on top of all these instruments that you've learned, you've also learned video and audio production. You say that you learned audio production first by, just attending your own sound checks and watching how it all goes, and you have a certain sound that you want in your ears. But then you started learning video, and it's interesting because, in my opinion, anyways, this is what's necessary in today's music world, is that you have to be a full stack artist, not only to do music but to also do video and audio and photography and goodness knows everything else. Is this a new joy for you, is to all this video production?
I do. I really do enjoy it. It's a great question. I really do enjoy all the aspects of it because it does take me outside of the music for a little bit, and sometimes like it's nice to take a little break and just do something else, even though it is musically inclined. You're editing a video or filming a video or recording stuff, or it's nice to just step away from the instrument for a second, for me at least, and just like absorb music in a different way as an audience member. What would the audience want to hear? What would the audience want to see? And just what do I want to see as an audience member? What do I want to hear as an audience member? And perhaps that's part of that element too. And I do enjoy doing it, although it is a lot of work, as we had discussed before. Sometimes those Oneness videos, one of which I released a new video yesterday at noon. And
it's wild.
It takes about 40 hours per minute of production. So if you watch the 3-minute video, it probably was over 100 hours of me sitting at my computer, editing and recording and blah, 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 blah. And so for that reason, it is a lot of work, but I do enjoy it, and it's a labor of love, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Now, you mentioned Oneness, your Oneness project, which is you playing all multiple instruments, but you're shooting yourself against green screens and then putting yourself in all sorts of different places and playing your instrument. It's really cool.
Thanks, Dan.
How do you describe it?
Thanks for watching them. Well, I describe it. Only the last 2 videos have been that way. And I got a green screen some time ago, actually. Like I had a friend who loaned me one back in the fall of last year, and I experimented with it. But just because you have a green screen doesn't mean you know what you're doing. It's just I had a screen. So you'll see like my 15th and 16th video came out with like effects, but like the 2 or 3 videos before that, it's just me in front of a green screen, not knowing what to do with the green screen.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it. That's another learning curve altogether when you get into the whole video thing.
Actually, the only reason I was able to take time to learn it was due to the quarantine. I was able to sit down and slow down like everyone has, and just kind of sit there, watch some YouTube tutorials, and inquire things, troubleshoot things, and experiment a little bit. And because of that, I was able to get a little more of a grasp on how to use a green screen.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Now, you have another song for us
Sure.
that you call Four-Chord Anomaly.
Yeah,
Why is
you
it
got
an anomaly?
Well,
An anomaly.
in pop music, anyways, there's this thing called the Forecourt Song, which is what it is. It's just a four-chord song, but you won't believe how many songs you could just play over these four chords.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable to me, so I'm pretty sure. But let's just go for it.
So that's what you're going to do for us now. Is
And
a
then
four-chord
after
anomaly?
that, yeah, and then I'll play one of the four-chord songs, and I'll improvise, and it's a little longer than the last song, but it's a lot of fun.
Okay, well, let's do it. Four-chord anomaly. Oliver's going to go back and get set up for all of his for his performance of the four-chord anomaly. And this is a good time to remind you that if you want to leave comments, you can certainly do that. And we love to see what you're doing at home and where you're actually watching from. Here's Oliver Miguel now with his four-chord anomaly.
Four chords. Piece of cake. Here we go.
'Cause I won't hesitate no more, no more. This cannot wait. I'm yours. Forever young. I wanna be forever young. Get your lighters out. Nobody wanna see us together, but it don't matter, no, 'cause I got you. No one, no one, no one can get in the way of what I'm feeling. If I could, then I would. I'll go wherever you will go. See, you can go on forever. You want to hear one more? Okay, you got it, Tim. Here. And can you feel the love tonight, tonight? But this is the fair one. Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Okay, we'll do that song, yeah? Let me build it for you. 1 second. Tú eres el imán y yo soy el metal. Me voy acercando y voy armando el plan. Solo con pensarlo se acelera el pulso. Oh yeah, more instruments, right? Ya me está gustando más de lo normal. Me voy acercando y voy armando el plan. Solo con pensarlo se acelera el pulso.
Oh my God, we're gonna have a jam session. Yes. I'm ready, Tim. Are you ready to hear the chorus?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Formar las paredes de tu laberinto y hacer de tu cuerpo todo manuscrito.
Sube, sube.
Quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero ser tu ritmo. Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos.
Favorito, favorito, baby.
Déjame sobrepasar tus zonas de peligro hasta provocar tus gritos y que olvides tu apellido.
Si te pido un beso, dámelo. Yo sé que estás pensándolo, yo sé que estás pensándolo. Me estoy tú indignándolo. Sabes que tu corazón conmigo te hace pam pam. Sabes que esa beba está gustando de mi pam pam. Y prueba de mi boca para ver cómo te sale. Quiero ver cuánto amor a ti te cabe. Yo no tengo prisa, yo me quiero dar el viaje.
Empezamos lento, después salvaje. Pasito a pasito, suave suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito.
Es que esa belleza, con esa destreza, tú que eres malicia con delicadeza.
Pasito a pasito, suave suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito.
Es que esa belleza con rompecabezas, pero para montarlo aquí tengo la pieza, oye.
Despacito, cito.
He's going for the saxophone, ladies and gentlemen. Going to add in a saxophone. A bold move.
That's the hardest instrument out of all of them. It's exhausting. Okay, let's end the song.
Despacito, this is how we do it down the Jazz International. Ay, bendito, I just can forever cuando esté contigo.
Pasito, pasito, suave, suavecito, nos vamos pegando poquito.
Hasta provocar tus gritos y que olvides tu apellido.
Pasito, pasito, suave, suavecito, nos vamos pegando poquito.
Hasta provocar tus gritos y que olvides tu apellido. despacito.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Oliver Miguel doing his four-chord anomaly here on the. Oh my gosh!
All right.
I
So
feel
I wrote
like
that song a couple years ago. We're hoping it goes big, but it's
I'm gonna put some. I'm gonna do the cash register sound on that ending. There you go. Putting in. You need an extra one of you.
What do you say, Tim? What do you say?
You need another one of you. That's cool. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. We are here with Oliver Miguel. And Oliver, thank you very much for that four-chord anomaly. I also want to point out that we're also here with Esteban Herrera, who is joining us from another part of Calgary. And we're running a little bit late here, but I wanted to say thank you so much for being a part of this entire presentation about Latin jazz. Esteban, you are at home with your piano and your spices that add the extra deliciousness to your Mexican interpretation of Latin jazz. Thank you for being a part.
Thank you very much. Thank
Oliver,
you.
your own interpretation of oneness and your own flavors of Latin jazz that you bring to the community as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tim.
And that does it for us here on Jazz Home Delivery. I'm Tim Tamashiro. Jazz is delicious anytime, but especially at home. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. I can't do this. Oh, there we go. JazzYYC would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support that has helped bring this virtual jazz festival to you. TD, Jazz Home Delivery, the City of Calgary, Alberta Foundation for the Arts, the Government of Canada, Calgary Arts Development,
You again, Tim.
Inglewood BIA, CKUA Radio, Calgary Public Library, CADME, the Coalition for Music Education Music Monday, Studio Bell, home of the National Music Center, Decidedly Jazz Danceworks, and the Music Mile. Thank you. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, please subscribe to this page, and if you want to receive more information about this or any of JazzYYC's other upcoming programming, please visit jazzyyc.com and become a member.